the CAC. If you were much later and had to extend this seminar, you would have had to deal with Dr. E. David Schultz at 2 o'clock. I would have paid to see that.
Yo, Doc, I totally saw you slap your leg when you hit stops.
Oh. He's in the next room. David?
You want to see a fat man run?
So,
it's either David Schultz or a pack of pills, you know?
So before we get underway, I forgot to mention this during the first seminar, but I will mention it now and probably the next couple. If you have a cell phone, kindly make sure that it's, you have your cell phones on vibrate or silent or whatever they call it, so it doesn't interrupt speakers who are kindly enough to volunteer with us here this afternoon. I'm going to turn this over to A.J. Kirch, and I'm going to get out of here. And this can't reach over there. I tried that, that's why I had to come up. So I'm going to direct you, ladies and gentlemen, A.J. Kirch, the Blue Meanie, and Lady Joel. They're going to do character development, and I think we got the right guys. Give them a hand. Thank you so much, Ron.
Well, as we await on the arrival of the other half of the panel this evening, my name is A.J. Kirch, and if you are unacquainted, a quick rundown of my career. 2011 season of WWE Tough Enough. I won the Rock's Rock the Promo competition, which was a promo competition series that launched his YouTube channel back in 2016, and most recently I voiced Buzz, the main character in my career mode of WWE 2K19. So, you know, you may not have seen my work otherwise, which is why I did a quick rundown. Our panelists, however, need no introduction, but they are going to get one anyway. At least one of them is, because the other one is yet to arrive, and I'm hoping that if I stall long enough, that the timing might just work out.
Call it in the ring!
Call it in the ring, kid! Well, I'm honored to be, for the 6th consecutive year, to be invited back to host and contribute to the CAC Learning Series. It's always an honor to give back to the business that we all love so dearly, and I'm privileged to be joined by, at this time, one of the most instantly recognizable characters in all of professional wrestling, an ECW original, former WWE superstar, ladies and gentlemen, the Blue Meanie. Oh, I'm so happy right now. And I will reserve the other introduction for when our other contributing party arrives. We will be exploring character development in today's seminar, and we've got a couple, like I said, fantastic characters. Oh! And joining me and the Blue Meanie is another ECW original, one of the most notorious stickmen in the history of the business, Joel, making his much anticipated debut at Cauliflower Alley. I'm not done. He's not much of a singer, but if you play your cards right, he'll yodel in your valley. Gertner. And just in time as well. So thank you so much, Joel, for joining me. Thank you, Blue Meanie, for joining me. And really, this is going to be more of a discussion than anything else. We want this to be as interactive as possible. So please ask away anything, any insight, any questions that you want to ask concerning character development in professional wrestling. Please do so. I will do my best to moderate those so that they arrive in a orderly fashion.
Or disorderly.
Or disorderly, just complete chaos works too.
Or with the ECW, we just did everything on the
Yeah, exactly. But something we all have in common here, we're all fans of professional wrestling. I am, of course, still a huge fan of professional wrestling, and therefore I'm going to kick it off with the first question. So take this time to think of a question of your own. And my first question is to you, Blue Meanie, and I've waited a long time to ask this, and I'm so excited to actually get to ask it face to face. What the hell is a Blue Meanie, and what is the origin story of this character?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Smattering of applause. First of all, the Blue Meanie character, well, there's different answers for that. There's not one simple answer. If any fans of the Beatles here? Well, the Beatles had a cartoon called The Yellow Submarine, and one of the main heels, since we're wrestling heels, in the movie was a character called Blue Meanie. And I had just started training, well, I just finished my training with Al Snow. I was living with Al for like a year. And it got to the point where he's getting me bookings, and he said, hey man, you've been training, I've been getting you all these bookings, but it's time to leave the nest, go out on your own, hustle, get your own bookings, learn what it's like to make your way through this business. And he, set me free. So I started doing shows in the Northeast. I was doing shows in like everywhere. I lived in Atlantic City. I was doing shows in Maryland, Pittsburgh, New York, and I was still driving back to Detroit, that area where I was training. And I had run into Raven, Stevie Richards, all that good stuff. And Raven, long story short, or short story long, whichever you prefer, Raven saw me and he wanted me to be Stevie's lackey. So Stevie was Raven's lackey, he wanted to have a lackey to a lackey. So it's kind of like the Russian dolls, one fits in the other. So we had done a couple of things where I was wrestling at the time as Brian Rollins, original name, I don't know. I was just trying to find my way, and one of the shows he goes, and this is how Raven is, he'll overpitch something. Your dome is like, hey! That's Raven. He'll overpitch it, so you settle for the least of it, He goes, hey, kid, I see it in the ring, you're a little bulbous, yeah. Ever see that movie, Yellow Submarine, when you were a kid? I go, I know, you ever see the movie Yellow Submarine? I went, as a kid, I was like, I haven't seen it since. He's like, oh, there's this character, the Blue Meanie. You're gonna love it. We're gonna go home, I'm gonna show it to you. You want to paint your whole body blue, but just do your hair for now. And I'm just like, I went, okay, I'm still going to be in ECW, right? Because I got it all in. Because he was like, when he first pitched the idea for me to be Stevie's character, he's like, well, you're gonna have to wear half shirt Daisy Dukes. I was like, I'm gonna be in ECW, right? Yes, I'm all in. Well, I don't care. A foot in the door is better than 1 foot in the door is better than no feet in the door. So it's an opportunity. And so he pitched it, and we're driving from my good friend Norm Connors, who ran shows in Pittsburgh, who a great part of my career too. We're driving back in a blizzard. We get back to Raven's house in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. We wait for Blockbuster to open. We go to Blockbuster, we rent the Yellow Submarine, and we watch it. I was like, this is horrible. Because I was too sober to watch this movie. It's like a bad acid trip. I mean, it's great. The Beatles are great, the music's great. But this movie is like a bad acid trip. I was like, I don't have to do drugs, whatever. But what Raven did, and Raven was ahead of his time. Yeah. Raven's so ahead of his time. Since we're talking about character development, he would take me, he would put a chair in the middle of the living room, he would sit in a chair, okay, Meanie, do a promo and character about toilet paper. And I would have to be in character, and off the top of my head, what would the Blue Meanie say about toilet paper? And he would work with me, and I would say certain things, and he would go over the phrase, the phrasing. Well, this is cool, but how do you say this instead? The rest of business is all about but. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, but how about this? It's always had to be good, to get by in the business instead of straight up shooting something down. Some people go, people shoot themselves in the foot. They'll go, I ain't doing that. The best way to get around is go, I like that idea, but how about this? and make it think they're still doing their idea with your little twist on it, and then it just becomes you. So I started doing that, and then he wanted me to be this evil, maniacal guy, and that sounded like that's the everyday sound in my head. I didn't know it was that photoresist Tuesday. I know I might be rambling here. Hopefully I have your attention. But yeah, the Blue Meanie character was from the Yale Submarine. When I went to England, one of the locals smarted me up that the Blue Meanie was a term for the police. The Blue Meanies are coming to get you. So in a way, the metaphor for the Blue Meanie in the movie was, the man is coming to get you. And then I also learned from another local in England, the Blue Meanie was a form of currency. As a nickname for a form of currency during the lean times, during the Depression. Oh mate, I'm down to my last Blue Meanie. Got to stretch this thing out. So the Blue Meanie is a character in Yale Submarine. It's kind of public domain, really. It's a term for law enforcement back in the day and a form of currency.
And of course, same question to you, Joel. How exactly did the quintessential stud muffin come to fruition?
Yeah, the quintessential stud muffin was a work in progress. Always, just constantly, just its own play within a play, kind of an episodic within the episodic nature of the whole show. Down to everything, down to just how much time the character got and influence in the Dudley stable, down to wardrobe. I mean, it started with kind of maybe as a Chris Farley homage, like just the jacket with no shirt and a bow tie, kind of like, Chris Farley, Chippendales, whatever, SNL. And then from there, when I took Total Elimination, it made sense for me to wear a neck brace, and of course it didn't make sense not for me to be still dressed up like Chubby Chippendale, so I had to integrate the neck brace to be underneath the bow tie and the jacket and everything else. So yeah, and that's, it's not called character establishment, because you don't establish your character and plant your feet in the concrete like Grauman's Chinese theater, and your character stays the same. Because a character that you see on TV, in wrestling, or in the movies, even in a 2-hour movie, they're not staying the same. There's an act 1 and an act 2 and an act 3, and there's a character evolution, right? So it's not character establishment, it's character development. Your character is going to develop over time. Mine sure did.
Checking to see if we have any questions so far. Not yet? All right.
And how many people are actually wrestlers, aspiring wrestlers, or former wrestlers? Cool. Yeah, this is awesome. So,
We had a question up here.
I'm just curious, as the business has changed and you guys had a lot more freedom to create, today it's a lot more structured and it's given to you. What advice would you give to take what's given to you and still make it your own?
well, I'm a coach at the Monster Factory in Jersey, and I got kids from all ranges. And one of the best pieces of advice, I can give somebody is, and this was just brought up because I'm one of Matt Riddle's coaches. And he brought this up in his latest interview. He's like, I told him it's better to be the wrestler that they had to tell you to tone it down than have to force you to turn it up. Be coachable, be ahead of what they want you to do. The one thing that frustrates bookers, trainers, and everything is having to tell somebody something more than once. So, and that comes with anything, with like the psychology of the promotion you're working for. The most important thing is when you're working for anybody, just find out what their style is and work within their parameters. Because, I went from ECW, you had this parameter which was pretty, no parameter. And then when I went to the WWE, it's like, oh, this is structured. So, and you have to, learn their way. Because when you go to WWE, they don't care about what you did before there. This is WWE, this is how we do things, bump feet, or whatever. So, I know I'm getting a little bit away from it, but he said, stay within the structure. Find what that structure is, and then, kind of see how far out the lines you can paint before they tell you, get back in your lane. Always be that guy that they say, hey, tone it down. Well, we appreciate what you're doing, but tone it down. And then you tone it down a little bit, and then time goes by, and get back. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of times where I went to do stuff, and they're like, don't do that here. Okay, I won't do it again. Well, I won't do that again, but I might try something else next time. So it's better to be that way than, man, this guy's got no ideas. I don't know what to do with him. Blah 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 blah. Always be thinking of what to do. Always carry. If you're in a business, always have a notebook. Jot down idea or a tape recorder. Anything. We got smartphones, cell phones, whatever. Get a recording app. You wake up in the middle of the night. Got this idea. Record it. Go back to sleep. Or grab your notebook, write it down, go back to sleep. Like Roddy Piper, one of the best lines in cinematic history, I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. Where did he get that from? One time in the middle of the night, wrote it down in his notebook. So John Carpenter goes, what would he say here? He's like, well, Roddy goes, oh, I got this notebook. And he read through it. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. So I know I'm getting a little bit off that, but just always figure out what the parameters is. Always be ahead of the step with just, whatever they want to do, you're right there and make sure they don't have to tell you more than once. Be coachable.
Yeah, be coachable. That's great. Danny says that all the time. Danny says that that's the number one thing that he's looking for in somebody. Be coachable, and your character has a lot of organic fluidity. Like we were saying, just in entertainment, characters do, but in wrestling, because of its kind of soap opera, telenovela, kind of episodic nature, your character's going to have a lot of fluidity. So be coachable, be fluid, be plastic, be adaptable, and be ready and able to change. When's the last time you went to a restaurant and the soup was cold, and that was your complaint? The spoon was clean. And you throw your hand up and you get the waiter over. Is there a problem? Yeah, spoon's dirty. Never, right? Because you're paying the bills. If the problem is that the soup's cold and you're calling somebody over, you want them to address the fact that the soup is cold. Wrestling bosses in the wrestling office is not going to be shy in telling you to turn it down if that's their specific complaint, and it could be a lot worse than that. Like Meanie was saying, if they don't see something in you, or just in that particular case by case, if they don't like what you're doing, they're not going to tell you to turn it down. They're going to tell you what's on their mind. I was talking with MK yesterday in the bar on Fridays. Know your audience, right? If somebody is asking something of you, whether you're being brought in for one shot, or if you're an extra, or whether it's a long-term kind of run that you're getting, and a push, and a spot, if you're blessed. Know your audience, and know what it is that you're hoping to accomplish, and what you're seeking from the work that you're doing, and know what it is that they're asking, and they might want to ask of you. No.
There.
This kind of goes back to what you were just talking about. What if, say, you're in a situation where you've kind of established yourself, and then you come in, you work for a promotion, They tell you to go out and cut a promo, you go and you cut your promo. And then when you come in the back, they basically give you the attitude of, that's not what I wanted. I wanted you to be more like this guy. And he wants you to be like, you know, this guy who's on the same roster. And you personally don't feel it's right to be like this guy because of the fact that that's his style and you have your style. So what's the best thing to do in that type of situation? You don't want to lose your spot, so to speak.
Right.
But yet you don't want to look like that guy and be a carbon copy.
There's been plenty of times where I'm on a show and I'm like, my approach to any promotion is, I'm your guest. You know, you're bringing me in, you're trusting me well enough to put on the poster to do all this stuff. I try to have a dialogue before I do anything with a promoter, whether just there for one shot, return shots, whatever. In the case where they want me to cut a promo like the other guy, I might come up with an idea of why don't I work with that guy, maybe, you know? If you want me to be this way, and that guy's this way, well, wouldn't it be like, you know, a Reese's peanut butter cup? You put the chocolate and the peanut butter together, you know?
And they did it one time, didn't it? That when you and Bubba, when Bubba was kind of goofy, when he was the closest to being like you,
Yeah.
they did the gimmick where you guys did the old Warner Brothers, whatever.
We did the Marx Brothers
So,
skit.
you know, sometimes it's done, you know, you never know what the promoter wants. Sometimes it's done intentionally, not to, you know, set anybody up to fail or whatever.
Yeah, at the time, Bubba was doing the dance, Bubba danced, and I come in and Paulie goes, Meanie, can you dance? I went, yeah. I mean, anytime I dance, somebody tries to grab my tongue and hold it down, I think I'm having a seizure. Right? No, I'm just dancing. Oh, okay. You know, get the spoon. But no, in a situation like that, me and Bubba at the time were kind of similar. So, like ECW would have these segments called Pulp Fiction, where they would play the Miserloo by Dick Dale. That was the music. And that was a perfect way for everybody to get TV time, even if they didn't have a match or a full promo in the ring, backstage, all that stuff. People got a chance to quote 20 seconds of this, that. He made sure to get everybody in, kind of like the WrestleMania Battle Royal. They'd just throw everybody in. So me and Bubba, we're doing a similar thing. And we do the old, there was this old skit that Marx Brothers did where, you know, Beepo, or the curly-haired Marx brother goes, I'm sorry? Yeah. I mean, nothing's original, you know. Everything in wrestling's been done just with different window dressing, you know. But, and we did the whole, you know, we were backing up, we turned to each other, and we did it. And we do it, and then like, he goes to throw the punch, and then I run, he goes, I run off and I run into a brick wall and I take a ball. And you're a coward. And does his gimmick, you know. And then eventually he moved on to be hardcore Bubba, you know, with the bionics chair shots. But yeah, just like if you're ever in that situation and you want to respect somebody else's gimmick or character, or however you want to address it, just find a way where maybe you can work with that guy. Hey, if you think I'm good enough to be like that guy, team us up, pair us up. We can become a faction or a tag team, or I can manage him, you know? Like, and this isn't a criticism, but like, there was a time where WWE brought up more women from NXT to WWE, and then they had the Riot Squad, and then on the other end they had other three girls that were with
Absolution.
Was that?
Absolution.
Yeah, who were they with? Paige. I thought they should have put Ruby Riott with Paige.
Yes.
And I couldn't watch. I was like, she should be with Paige. And the other girl should have been with Carmella, because they were both the Long Island queens. Or, you know, they both had the same gimmick. Put the similar gimmicks together, you know, and make it work, you know. Most tag teams kind of have a similarity to each other. Why not do that? So in that situation, if you're ever in that situation, find a way to, you know, complement, you know, what they already got with something you can do down that line, down that road. So hopefully that explanation helps. So that's what I would do.
I've got a question of my own. You both have been doing these characters for 20-something years at this point. Was there ever a point where you got, I don't know if frustrated is the right word, I think stagnant, where you just got kind of complacent with where your character was at and felt like a change, a reinvigoration, or a rebranding even was in order, or maybe just a refreshing of some kind? And if so, I mean, there was a point, if I recall correctly, that you came out as the Blue Boy, and you dropped a bunch of weight, came out with his fur coat and everything.
I'm gonna do the Men in Black thing and make you forget it.
So was there ever a point when you were, maybe frustrated is not the right word, but was there ever a point where you just looked at what you were doing and you thought, you know what, I need to breathe some fresh air into this? And if so, how did you go about exploring the new possibilities of your characters?
The wrestling business is a lot like the music business. You know, if you're fortunate enough to get a character that you can establish on television, you know, forget the indie, you know, you can establish it on the indies, and you can be the king of the indies, all this different stuff, get over in indies, but if you're fortunate, like, you know, Joel, I know everybody else who's here this weekend, to have a character you can establish on television, you kind of become like a band. You know, the worst thing you can do is go to a concert and go, oh, here's a song from my new album, and you see everybody going to take a piss. You know, and it's like, you know, the Eagles, play Hotel California, I don't hear the new song. So there was, like what you said with I was in WWE, I was doing the Blue Meanie character. And WWE signed me. And there was a moment where I was kind of released. JR and Bruce pulled me aside and said, well, you know, maybe go away, put on a new coat of paint, come back, something else, and maybe we'll work with you down the line. And I was like, all right. But for whatever reason, I was released. I was still doing shots, which is weird. So I was like, you know, I literally did that. I started painting my face a little bit different, tried my gear a little bit different, just whatever. And then eventually, they wound up keeping me. JR called and said, oh, you got a reprieve from the war, and you know, we're keeping you. But in the meantime, I'm still trying to deviate from that character. So, and in the meantime, they also, you know, gave me a hint, lose a little bit of weight. Okay. You're paying the bills. It's your show. Always wait. I lost 160 pounds in about 4 months. No, don't clap, it's back. I lost like a Red Backstreet Boy, you know. So I lost the weight, and I was in. They sent me to Memphis. I was like, you know what? What's popular now? Band Smash Mouth. That guy's, and then there's a movie, Swingers, you know, where they were in the bowling shirts and they got the hair on. It's like, I like that. Let me try something with that. Started growing in the beard. I had just a chin fuzz. It's like, let me grow in a chin strap and do my hair and get tan. So that's a wrestling thing, get tan. I went to Memphis. I was going to try this character. Unfortunately, my grandma got sick. I said, hey, I gotta go home. My grandma's dying. So I went home, and they were about to do this whole thing with my weight loss. I was in Philly. I was about to drive up to a show in Connecticut. They were going to do this thing about the weight loss. I get a call from Bruce to let me go. I was like, but I'm about to do this article. Hopefully it'd be like an inspirational thing for people who were, you know, picked on and bullied as a kid, to lose weight, and that story. So here I am, the Blue Meanie without the Blue Meanie, you know, without the Blue Meanie, you know, without the goods, you know. It's like Clapton without a guitar or whatever. People know the fat, jovial Meanie. So I would do booking. I would do this, you know. I was like, well, I gotta go do indies. I'm doing these indie shows as the Blue Meanie. I kind of abandoned the Smash Mouth thing. So I got to pay the bills. I got to be the Blue Meanie. They don't know this character. They know that character. which I established on TV. You know, people are like, oh, why don't you do this kind of? I was like, no, well, this is established. This is what, butters my bread. This is what keeps the lights on. I'm going to do this. So the promoters are getting mad because fans are going, that's not the real Blue Meanie, that guy's too skinny. I'm like, ah. So all these people all my life are saying, lose weight, it's good for your health, blah, blah, blah. They go, man, you don't look good, you look sick, you put the weight back on. I'm like, come on, man. So I know where I started the Blue Meanie diet. And I didn't go back to that, but like before I went to the thing, Paulie brought me back to ECW. And I showed up to talk to him about the character. He came up with the character Blue Boy. Whatever. Like I said to Raymond, I'm going to be ECW, right? So we did that character, and ECW closed, went back to the Indies, and that's when I was like, gotta eat. But, when you're asking about getting stagnant and stuff like that, I tried to do other things. And like I said, like a band, people went to hits. I could go out there and try to have some kind of technical match with a character, but as soon as I lock up, people are chanting for me to do a dance-off. Give the band, they paid to see whatever they want to see, give the fans what they paid for, So I'm happy being what I'm at, I look at it as every time I get a chance to go in the ring, it's a blessing and an opportunity, because there's the shelf life of a wrestler isn't too long. You have a certain window to have success. First day with a new mouth, I'm sorry. I'm blowing up. Seriously. I stuck my shoe before I got here. I'm winded. I'm happily stagnant at this point. If I had never been given a chance to do the Blue Meanie character, and I'm still finding my way, I would be creating new versions of whatever I am. But essentially, the Blue Meanie is me with the volume turned up to 11. Everything I used to get in trouble for in grade school, I get paid to do now. Teacher would send a report card home. Brian keeps making fart noises in class. Please listen to the side. And there I'm in ECW. Whatever you are, whatever the best part of you is, put it into the ring. Because the beautiful thing about pro wrestling, you can be whatever you want. Just make it believable, make it relatable, make people want to be with you. Be you, especially, not enough people do this with the social media. Social media is a beautiful thing where you can be your own reality show. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. People see the struggle. They go, I like that guy. He's like me. And then when you become popular, they hate you like a hipster. And then, now it's kidding. I like to. Yeah. But I know I'm getting off a tangent. My stories are like Quentin Tarantino movies. They're all over the place, and then they have a finish somewhere. It's like falling down the steps and landing on your feet at the end. I don't know. But like I said, I'm happily stagnant at this point. I'm here, and people are very kind with, reminiscing about ECW days and stuff like that. It's kind of like punk rock. ECW was like the Ramones. People still talk about it, and I was very fortunate to be a part of it with this gentleman right here. So, if you want to answer this one as well.
Yeah, I think the theme is going to be you're going to make all the good points and I'll just throw color right. It'll be like play by play. I'll be able to do color.
I'm throwing it to you first next time. Joel's my garnish.
Yeah, I'm the garnish. And if you speak Yiddish, that's exactly what I am.
I'm
garnish.
here. I'm the meat of the sandwich.
But yeah, I have a real disjointed contribution here. The first part of it is real quick, so you'll like this best. It's if anybody, a promoter, an office, if anybody offers you a seat on a rocket ship, take it. Don't ask questions. Don't ask about is there going to be a soda and cocktail peanuts. Don't ask is it going to be in the front or the aft. Don't ask anything. If you're offered a seat on a rocket ship, take it. I took a gamble that a lot of Las Vegas gamblers would probably run downstairs and put $1,000 on zero before they would do what I did. And I'm not a brave and courageous person, but probably the way I'm wired as a person, where I am the bravest of all of my elements, is that I would prefer to, if I wind up having to have a regret, I would prefer to regret something that I did rather than regret something that I didn't do. And then have to ask the questions later, like what would have happened, what could have happened. So I left school to run off and join the circus. And thank God it worked, but that's just it. And that was me, taking a seat on the rocket ship, asking for one in my case, but then when offered one, making the decision to take one. So the advice that I would give to anybody, if you get a spot, don't ask why, don't overthink it, it might not come by again. For being stagnant or complacent or wanting to refresh, two answers. They're both kind of close, they're both not exactly what you're looking for. They're variations on a theme. One is, and this came up again in my conversation with MK yesterday at Fridays, I feel like if you would have been at Fridays last night at 2:30 in the morning, you would have been able to miss my half of this, maybe sleep in, wake up. People were starting to like the sexual limericks, because ECW was essentially the hardcore porn of professional wrestling. So why wouldn't an Andrew Dice Clay type or whatever I was be liked? So it was tough to keep the dynamic of being a heel, especially because, like I was saying before, work in progress. Now all of a sudden Bubba is a heel on the mic as well, because now Bubba's not stuttering, Bubba's talking. So we're both talking, and the dynamic, we were talking about, you were a lot like Bubba.